Alright, it's time to showcase Where Is My Home from The Poison Act 1, inspired by general crime music, but with my own The Poison twist and just experimenting and just embracing that. The title is, it might be on the nose, but for me, Where Is My Home is really also about like questioning the feeling of feeling at home is a feeling that I've struggled with. Well, that I don't really experience, and that I struggle with not experiencing it, and like I feel bad. Especially, I sometimes when someone has like a really nice home situation that where they know like this feels like home, then that's something I feel like, oh, I wish I had that. It's a really authentic way to create music. I created the music to kind of settle it, to kind of give it a place. That's something sometimes you just need to do that. Some music is written for me to do that, exactly that, to give something a place. So I'm gonna show you. Here we have the project. It's not super complicated. It's pretty clean, fortunately for you and fortunately for me. Let's just start. Very moody start. Pretty cool synth sound. So I'm gonna start right here. We have the atmospheres, which consist out of these. These are breathing sounds. This is basically breathing in or breathing out, and then throwing Vala Shimmer on it. And there's two versions. So the Yannick breathe is the name of my brother, and he has a role. He has his vocals. He's credited on Where's My Home as vocalist, which streaming platforms for some reason have a hard issue with. Little rants, but anyways, he did these, which is pretty cool. And then I did these. They're maybe a bit soft for you to hear at the moment, but let's just do it like this. It sounds very dark and dramatic, really cool. And then we also have this, which is another Arcus hard patch that you might have noticed I'm using quite a lot. This one is just pitched down, has a lot of reverb on it. So again, I use this sound quite a lot, but every time I try to do something different with it. So like one time I reverse it, the other time I just heavily distort it. Now I'm pitching it down. So that's kind of how I approach it. Then for the piano, Woodchester, just lows, which is there's a lot of presence. Pretty nice. And then there's basses as well that help support the piano. And then there's the strings. So you can hear these episodic pitch ones are quite common throughout all the album, this album. And here I kind of did the most voices with it compared to any other track. Like there's quite a lot going on. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It sounds quite dramatic. Just want to turn that up again because this is a lot of soft stuff that's growing. Super dramatic. And it gets even more dramatic with these that are the Olive Onion cells, which I also used quite a bit in this album. And together that adds a really nice dramatic tension. And we have this arp going on. Or key sound. This is like the kind of crimey sound that I wanted to use. It's from Hans Zimmer's Zebra thingy. So pretty nice. Before continue, there's one more thing that's happening here. A big part of some of the tracks, like Toxic Air as well, and also the Descent, is the percussion, this like tribal-like percussion from Monolith. And I use the ensemble patch now. I try to kind of swap between my approach. And now I did the ensemble patch because it allows me to switch between a lot of different percussions. And since there was enough space to do that here, I like to do that. And I think that's a really easy way to make it very interesting because I just kind of play around with that. And then there's just well, that keeps going on throughout the entire track, as you can see. But now here there's going to be more layers, quite a bit. And this is where it also gets louder. We have this zebra bass. This is like a crime-like bass sound. Pretty cool together with the synths. And also I added another key kind of sound here, which is called... oh, this is more of an arp. It sounds like this. And then together with the key. So these kind of add those crime vibes. And then I have some strings and still the piano going on. Lots of low strings, which is something I want to play around with more, because the low range of the cello really shines. It's really nice. But the difference here is I didn't really intend it to be a melodic line. I just tried to do it more like a bass line, which it kind of still is, because you have this sound from Abbey Road 1 Orchestra, Legendary Low Strings. But I think it just feels more like a melody, because, well, it kind of is, because there's not really much melodics going on. There's not anything melodic going on, so that's a pretty cool thing. Just having this really low, moody melody. Lots of bass. Where's all the brightness here? Still, it's fun. Oh, I also have this going on, open chords. And they are more of a supportive thing, just like the cells. Supporting textural strings just helps bring simple string lines alive and give them a lot of character. So yeah, we have this now. It transitions, gets bigger, even more percussion. We have a cool pad going on. Let's just break those down a bit. This sidechain pad is simple pad, but it's doing sidechain stuff. Oh, wrong one. So these are just presets, not by me. And then we have these. I'm just gonna play all the percussion and you can hear it. Wait, the sticks. They have some delay on there to make them dance around. And these also came in a bit later, that's why I forgot to show them. But together with these, the percussion keeps building. And then there's a little roll here. No, wait, I removed that roll. There's this. This is a more heavy percussion. So still a lot of low layers. The pad is not sounding bright, by the way, but it's not bothering the walkthrough, so it's fine. And then there's also these, which are just the same as the pad, but then with strings. Transgate doing that. And now chords are coming in. Apart from that, everything stays the same. But these take a lot of attention and space, so I felt like it was fine to just do this. I wanted to keep things changing, but since these have so much space, take up so much space, that was working pretty well. And this sound is probably my favorite sound from the track. All hard quantized, same velocity. But I created a really nice piano tone. I just went all in with the velds, on the velds. And it's all very low, heavy, and arguably a bit muddy. I just really like to lean into that for this. It's like a comfort zone for me. Muddy mixes. No, let's not call it that. It's artistic choices. It's pretty cool. Now we get the flute. Also with some strings. I'm just gonna solo these. Some dramatic chromatic stuff to really raise the tension. And there's also a clock sound going on, just for the percussion as well. And that one is also quite obvious that you can hear it. Something more is growing. And then here we changed up the mood a little bit. We have this reverse piano, and then also again lots of kicks and kind of a sidechainy vibe to this one. And this was really fun, like texture wise I think this is super cool. You have the guitar here, pretty ambient sounding guitar. And then these from Albion Solstice, these are just plucked kind of folk instruments. Not sure what's in there, just a bunch of folk instruments. And on its own, I think it already sounds really interesting. And together with the guitar, which is playing the same thing. And then together with all the kicks and the percussion. I think it's really fun. And we also have some more percussion that's coming in here. So you can see there's a little roll that's happening. This looks very messy. It's just, I know exactly what everything in the patch is and how to kind of navigate that. So you can hear those are different sounds. Some are more of the same. Wait, huh? I don't know the patch that well. But yeah, so the one thing I like about this patch is it has this very ploppy percussion. It's just this. No, this. Which sound better on low velocity. Okay, so let's just keep it at it's a little bit messy and I don't know what I'm doing. It's easier. Answer. Then we have the strings coming back in here. As well as with the flutes, creating a tension. And then to finish it off, we're gonna get some brass in here. Which is more trailer and synth-like again. This is no proper brass writing. As you can hear, it's more of a synth, but it's kind of brass. Very ominous and dark, really fun. And just to give a bit of context behind the track, because the feeling of not knowing where your home is and the idea behind all of this is like having this sense of movement as I'm walking, just like with gravel, I'm taking a walk and I'm looking around, and it's how it's also very personal to me. This is kind of the brass coming in. It's like that tension and these emotions and almost a dark feeling, as you can see, like with the kind of Hans Zimmer-y Batman. And sometimes that's exactly how I feel, like Batman taking a walk in Gotham, just being all moody. Not sure if that's a great example, but yeah, it's just little creative thing for me. And one cool thing might be, well, it's just a tiny bit different than your regular thing where I would have 4 notes progressions. It's a 3-note progression, so you have the and then again, so it adds a bit more tension, I think. Especially because we're used to these 4-note progressions and not the 3-note progressions or chord progressions. Now the outro is just dialing everything down again and introducing those strings back from the intro. while also having the percussion playing, which is like a nice little vibe. And now I changed up the harmony a little bit to make the outro a bit more unique on its own. And then bam, the walk is done. So yeah, that's the kind of the main idea. It was a lot of experimentation with the sounds, just some fun stuff. Also the percussion, this is where I started experimenting with this type of percussion ever since I wrote this back in, I think it's like June, July 2025. I did so much stuff with tribal percussion. And in percussion in general, that's something I'm doing a lot for production albums too now. And I have this track for Big Part, this track as well as The Descent and Toxic Air to thank for that. So I think that's really cool how kind of a really unique vibe of percussion can kind of be born from that, and like the writing and how I keep experimenting with it. It's almost like a mindset, but it's a really it's a really fun thing that I enjoy playing around with and just learning more about and doing. So yeah, love percussion. It's obviously something I love in here, and also love this piano sound and stuff. Let's just listen to it. Really fun. So yeah, that's Where Is My Home. Hopefully I was able to demystify it for you. Yeah, I think I showed everything I wanted to show. So that is Where's My Home. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I'm wishing you a fantastic day, night, evening, night, day, or whatever. Wishing you a good dose. I'm gonna stop it now. Bye.